Hello, good afternoon. Again, this is Irene Isratnayaki, and let's talk about biodiversity. Genetically modified golden rice fall short on life-saving promises. Golden rice, a genetically modified crop or GMO. This GMO was first conceived in 1980s and focus of research since 1992. Heralded on the Lower of Time magazine in 2000 as a genetically modified crop or GMO, they think to have the potential to save millions of lives in the third world countries. The golden rice is still used from field introduction, and even then they may fall short of lofty health benefits still cited regularly by GMO. Advocates suggest a new study from Washington University in St. Louis. Vitamin A enriched golden rice, is a cost efficient solution that can substantially reduce health costs despite golden rice being available since early 2000. This rice has not been introduced in any country's governments must perceive additional costs that overcompensate the benefit of the technology to explain the delay in approval. They build a real option model that includes irreversibility, uncertainty about perceived cost, and receipt of fresh information. The model was used in instance of India. This is an indication of the economic strength of the golden rice resistance, which has resulted in almost 1.4 million life years wasted in India over last decade. Is golden rice ready for the market? The answer is no. There are no varieties of golden rice or any genetically engineered rice on the market anywhere in the world, but they plan to be soon available in the market by 2023, according to F&B report. As of 2022, golden rice is being grown in 10 locations of the Philippines, including 5 DA regional experiment centers, 19 seed growers, and 14 farmers cooperators. There are now 23.1 hectares set aside for seed production and 15.35 hectares set up for commercial GR production. Experiments had been performed to determine the shelf life of vitamin A in golden rice. Rice is frequently preserved for extended period of time to test on the effect of different types of cook have been conducted, nor have toxicological testing on animal feeding trials been conducted to determine the potential health concern of golden rice. IRRI has indicated that animal feeding experiments on the vitamin A availability of golden rice are being done in the US, but no findings have yet been published. But we find support for the common claim that environmental activists are responsible or caused to stop making progress for its introduction. GMO opponents have not been the problem, according to the author Glinstone, professor of anthropology and environmental studies in art science at the university. GMO supporters have long promoted the technology as a realistic means to deliver food, a practical way to provide poor farmers in distant locations with a subsistence crop that can offer value. Some anti-GMO groups view golden rice as an overhyped Trojan horse that biotechnology corporations and their allies hope will pave the way for the global approval of other more profitable GMO crops. GMO proponents frequently allege that environmental organizations such as Greenpeace should be held accountable for delaying the launch of golden rice, and therefore adding to the anguish of poor individuals. But according to the research from the University of Sussex, that the rice has just not been effective in rice breeding tests. plots golden rice and meat promises are to blame, not the anti-GMO companies. According to Stone and Glover's report, research continues to have problem. The Philippines has challenge in generating beta-carotene in rich strains which is already being grown by our farmers. One could therefore wonder how new technologies can be introduced if they are so easily blocked. There will always be a tiny but loud minority opposed to a new technologies. It will become increasingly difficult to introduce new technology advances in information and communication system over the last decade have reduced the expenses of organizing the opposition as well as conveying technology-related system. On the other hand, uncertainty about a new technology might be tempered by concern about not having access to a new technology raised by a powerful group of stakeholders. They, they may explain why transgenic crops have been introduced in the US but not in Europe. What is the benefits of golden rice? According to the International Rice Research Institute, IRRI, and its national research partners is to supplement current vitamin A deficient therapies or VAD. Globally, VAD is a severe public health issue that affects millions of children and expectant mothers. Similar to regular rice, golden rice is fortified with beta-carotene, which the body uses to create vitamin A when it is required. Leafy green or yellow veggies both contain beta-carotenes. Golden rice has the promise to help prevent millions of deaths and alleviate the suffering of children and adults with VAD and micronutrient malnutrition in developing countries. Golden rice has fully satisfied all biosafety regulatory requirements in Philippines. More than half of children who are blind as a result of VAD dies within a year of being blind. Furthermore, VAD weakens the immune system of nearly 40% of children under the age of 5 and underdeveloped countries, increasing the risk of serious disease from common childhood infection. Anemia, greater susceptibility in, to infection, and slower development are further health implications. Furthermore, early childhood malnutrition has long-term consequences that are difficult to cure with improved nutrition later in life. World Health Organization addressing VAD and zinc insufficiency in nutrition has been identified as the number one concern in poor nations for long-term economic growth by the Copenhagen Consensus. Moreover, half of the world's population, especially Asians, is fed on rice. No other crop provides much food, as much employment for farmers, or as much support for the environment as does agriculture. For 70% of the poor in Asia, especially Philippines, for whom rice is sometimes the only source of income, it is more than just a food crop. Rice also plays a significant role in providing income sources for the Filipino families, particularly farmers who work day and night to provide foods not only for their own but to all Filipinos who rely on rice to meet their day-to-day nutrients needs. The impact of GMO in Philippines' productivity growth of the country's corn industry was estimated to be 11.45% higher due to GM corn adoption. According to the study, the equivalent variation of income is 189.4 million or nearly 10% of total household income. Despite the wealth of information available about the health benefits of golden rice, national government, which are bound by the rules and regulation on the use of GE crops, are reluctant to approve its introduction. Their specification is not that restrictive as it will allow identifying threshold levels for perceived cost. The specification of the model considers the inherent uncertainty decision makers face as well as the fact that new information arrives over time, but that the specific point in time when information will be available is uncertain. So we just hope that the government can solve the rice crisis in our country, or they can find solution not to import rice anymore, but it's best if we have locally produced grains anytime, because importing could affect our local producers. And that would be all. Thank you very much and have a nice day.